In the distant future, as the world teetered on the edge of chaos, a man emerged from the shadows. He was unlike anyone the world had seen: charismatic, powerful, and capable of performing miracles. He claimed to be the long-awaited prophet, sent by the heavens to guide humanity through these troubled times. His words brought comfort to many, as he spoke of peace, prosperity, and deliverance from the hardships that plagued the earth. At first, the people were wary. They remembered the ancient texts that warned of false prophets, those who would come in the end times to lead the faithful astray. Yet, the signs this man performed were undeniable. He healed the sick, brought rain to drought-stricken lands, and even seemed to raise the dead. His following grew rapidly, and soon, entire nations were bowing at his feet, proclaiming him the chosen one. The world hailed him as a savior, but a small remnant remained skeptical. These few had studied the Holy Scriptures and knew that not every miracle was from God. They recalled the warnings in Matthew 7 verse 15, where Jesus had said, "Beware of false prophets, who come to you in sheep's clothing but inwardly are ravenous wolves." Despite the prophet's miracles, something about his teachings didn't align with the truth they had been taught. His words subtly twisted the sacred doctrines, and though his promises were enticing, the faithful few sensed the danger lurking beneath. As the prophet's influence grew, he revealed a new vision to his followers, a vision of a great beast. He claimed that this beast was a divine messenger, sent to rule the earth with justice and power. He commanded his followers to bow before the beast, swearing loyalty to it in exchange for protection and blessings. Many obeyed, receiving a mark on their hand or forehead as a sign of their allegiance, just as the prophet had instructed. Those who refused were cast out of society, unable to buy or sell, ostracized and persecuted. This was the moment the remnant had feared. They recognized the mark from the book of Revelation 13:16-17, where it was written, "And the second beast required all people, small and great, rich and poor, free and slave, to receive a mark on their right hand or on their forehead, so that no one could buy or sell unless he had the mark, the name of the beast or the number of its name." The false prophet had aligned himself with the beast, and together they had ensnared the world. Though the remnant was small and their voices were few, they remained steadfast in their faith. They refused to take the mark, knowing that doing so would mean abandoning their God. They gathered in secret, praying for strength and deliverance, for they knew the end was near. The world around them grew darker as the prophet's influence spread, but they held on to hope, trusting in the promises of their holy texts. Then, the day of judgment came. It started as an ordinary day, with the prophet standing before his massive crowds, declaring new visions and commands from the beast. But as he spoke, the skies began to darken, and a great rumbling shook the earth. Lightning cracked across the heavens, and the people gasped in fear as a brilliant light descended from above. The air was thick with a presence unlike any they had ever felt. Suddenly, a voice thundered from the clouds, shaking the very ground beneath them. "The time has come for the deceiver to be judged." The false prophet froze, his confident demeanor faltering for the first time. The crowd, once in awe of him, began to murmur in confusion and fear. As the light grew brighter, a mighty figure appeared, descending from the heavens on a white horse, as described in Revelation. I saw heaven standing open, and there before me was a white horse, whose rider is called Faithful and True. With justice he judges and wages war. His eyes are like blazing fire, and on his head are many crowns. He has a name written on him that no one knows but he himself. The rider, the true King of Kings, came to bring judgment upon the earth. Behind him followed a vast army of angels, their swords drawn, ready to vanquish the forces of evil. The false prophet, realizing his power was crumbling, attempted one final act of deception. He raised his hands, calling upon the beast to defend him. But the beast, too, was powerless against the divine might that had arrived. In an instant, the beast was seized. along with the false prophet who had performed signs in its name. The crowd watched in terror as they were both bound by chains of light, unable to escape their fate. As Revelation 19 verse 20 foretold, but the beast was captured, and with it the false prophet who had performed the signs on its behalf. With these signs, he had deluded those who had received the mark of the beast and worshipped its image. The two of them were thrown alive into the fiery lake of burning sulfur. With a deafening roar, the earth opened up, and the false prophet and the beast were cast into the lake of fire. Their reign of deception and destruction brought to an end. The crowd, once mesmerized by the false prophet's power, now trembled in fear, realizing they had followed a lie. Many fell to their knees, weeping, as the remnant who had held firm in their faith stood tall, vindicated at last. The rider on the white horse raised his sword, and with one final command, the forces of darkness were defeated. Peace returned to the earth, and those who had remained true were gathered into the eternal kingdom, where there would be no more suffering or deception. As the vision of the future faded, the lesson remained clear. False prophets may rise, and their deception may be great, but in the end, truth will triumph. The faithful would be rewarded, and justice will be served, and the deceivers cast into the fire. As was written from the beginning, the prophecy of Revelation had come to pass.